Hello everyone, it's Megray, and this is going to be a unique type of time-lapse of a recent competition I was in on Builder's Refuge. And since I did record myself building it, I thought I might as well make a time-lapse. So the whole idea of this contest was to build something related to the theme house in 24 hours without the assistance of any plugins or commands. You can already see some plots going up all over the place. There were so many amazing builders in this contest, and it was just a lot of fun. And for my plot, I chose to do a fantasy theme with a fairy-styled home. Now the first thing I did, obviously, was to create this little hill for my house to be nestled on. I had so many ideas for things I wanted to include on this plot that I made sure my hill was a little bit taller so I'd have space above and below it. When it came time to actually adding the little fairy house on top, I started building it kind of like a typical structure, just very geometric and upright. But I'm not very good at doing those, and I also was running out of room on my plot, so I decided to go for a more fantasy or organic approach to my house. This gave me a little more breathing room on my plot, and to be honest, it was just easier for me to do it this way. While the shape is really simple, I tried to make it a little more interesting by adding different shades of blocks and just a little bit of detailing. This process did take a little bit longer since it was trying to shape an organic as opposed to just straight up structure, but in the end I didn't have to worry about symmetry as much, so in a way it was a little bit easier for me. Considering it was my first try on an organic house and it was on such a small scale, I don't think it turned out half bad. Once I was done with the house, I had loads of other ideas of things to add to this fairy plot to give more of an environment to this little house. First thing I did was to add a few mushroom steps around the front, and we're going to spend a lot of time adding a giant flower forest behind this house. So this did take me a while to build these out. I wanted to have several different types of flowers, some taller, some shorter. In fact, I had to cut down on the amount of flowers because my plot was a lot smaller than I was originally thinking, and I was running out of room pretty fast. Honestly, that's the fun part about these competitions, is learning how to adjust with what you're given to work with. Now that I have my flowery forest, it's time to add some fairies. Now I did live stream this portion of this contest, and that video is still available for you to watch if you're interested in watching me work through the process of building these fairies. But I went through several different designs for this fairy, trying to get it to look like it actually fit in the plot and was still recognizable as a fairy. Easier said than done on a plot this size, but in the end I was really happy I was able to figure out a design that worked. After adding a second little fairy on a toadstool in the corner, I just couldn't help myself and I just had to add more flowers. And some things that were unplanned for, like the spider web on the side, were added just to fill in all those little spaces. Now the main part of my plot is done, but I still have this cave that I had planned to put under the hill that I need to work on. I didn't want to make it too complicated, and honestly I was trying to run out of ideas, but I really wanted to add these crystals on the side of the cave just to give it a more fantasy vibe, and eventually a little leaf boat floating around with a third fairy inside. The plot is basically done now, but I did find a few little gaps and areas where I wanted to add extra things just to fill them in so it didn't look empty anywhere. And to top off the entire build, I decided to add a butterfly flying high above. So that was the entire time-lapse of this competition. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Honestly, all of the builders did such an amazing job. I couldn't get over how creative some of the plots were, and how they were all done without plugins was just mind-blowing. And in case you're wondering, I did place in the top 3, although to be fair, there was a tie for second and a tie for third, so I was essentially in the top 5. But I wasn't in the competition to win it, I was just in it for fun. I enjoy doing competitions because it does push you a little bit out of your comfort zone, maybe doing something you're not familiar with or something you've never done before, but that's a good thing because it forces you to try something you probably wouldn't normally try, and it just helps you develop as a builder. Anyway, that's all I have for you for this video. Hopefully I will get my longer time lapse done. It's been in the works for several months, but I appreciated this competition giving me a chance to give you a time lapse before that one can be released. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you some other time.